We are just days away now from Verdansk finally returning to Call of Duty Warzone, and I'm going to bring you everything that you need to know ahead of the map dropping on April 3rd. So let's get into it. So just before we get into this is the first time I've seen this blog. I've obviously seen a few things on Twitter, but for the most part I've not actually seen any videos or anything on this. I've been personally avoiding them because I really want to just react to all of the content that's in this, so let's get on with it. So it starts off with the Battle Royale map that started all is back, rebuilt from the ground up. Get all the details of Call of Duty Warzone's original big map, including returning features and original game modes, plus details on huge launch event with 23 rewards. I've seen this on Twitter. This launch event does look pretty good. Kilo 141, AMAX, and HDR all coming back, and obviously the time it's going to release. So it says, welcome home. The original Call of Duty Warzone Battle Royale experience returns as Verdansk arrives for players to dive in to the start of Season 3. This is a return to the game's initial Battle Royale roots. That is a big win in my opinion, because I feel like right now we're kind of just playing Resurgence on a big map. You know, we can just die and come back as many times as we want, provided we get like a Gulag token. So hopefully that means we're going back to the, you know, one Gulag and then that's it, you're out kind of thing. With back to basics gameplay, an authentic rebuilding of the big map, along with an impressive number of quality of life improvements. I moved my camera at the bottom so you guys can see like kind of what I'm seeing with these photos and stuff like that. So we have the roadmap here. So we obviously have Verdansk coming back with the original Gulag. I've said my piece on the original Gulag. It's not my favourite, but it's not the worst, so we'll see how it plays out. Battle Royale, Rebirth Resurgence as well, obviously. Plunder, and then Battle Royale Casual. This Battle Royale Casual, I believe, has got like 28 real players in, and then the rest of the lobby is literally just AI bots. And basically, it's kind of like a playground aspect of it for people to sort of learn the mechanics of the game and sort of get the grips of the game and maybe even try out new weapons and stuff like that. For me personally, I think this is actually a big win. Remember when they dropped the Halloween mode on Rebirth and we have that sort of like sandbox mode where the game went on for like 2 hours and like it really wasn't like a winner or a loser and you can kind of test things out. For me personally, having a mode like that in Warzone is a big win. So I'd be interested to see how Battle Royale Casual plays out. It should be hopefully pretty good. Battle Royale Ranked Play. That's coming back as well. Obviously, ranked on Verdansk is going to be phenomenal in my opinion. And then High Trip Resurgence, LTM, which we had last year in Modern Warfare 3. And obviously we picked up like the sort of the gummies and stuff like that off the ground and give us like speed boost stuff. Good resurgence, good resurgence mode, good limit time mode, so not against that coming back. Then we got some quality of life stuff. So we've got squad redeploy in the buy station. So basically say all 3 members of your squad's dead, obviously £3,000 each, and then you have 9 grand. You can literally just press one button on your controller and it redeploys them all instantly. You don't have to like tick through the list of respawning them. For me, that's a big win. We kind of upgraded like the field upgrades and the squad widget at the bottom so you can see who's got like, you know, ammo boxes and armor boxes and stuff like that. This one, I hope it goes into a little bit more detail about this later on, but this one I think is a huge win. So, detailed death recap widget. Now, right now in Warzone, we only have we have the person who shot you, how much damage they did, and what weapon they used. But this is actually going to go into use in sort of like live pings. So like it tells you when like they've used a live ping on you, or because you've shot an unsuppressed weapon, that's where they know where you are. All that kind of stuff. Prioritize your favorite loadout and gunsmith. I've been crying out for this for a long time. There's been so many times recently. This has been bugged, I think, since Black Ops Integrated, where you set a favorite loadout, and then when you go in game and you think your favorite loadout should be at the top, and it's not, it's just the first loadout that you've got. So the fact that that's actually going to work again is much needed. Then we've got inspect your weapons. So see in the pre-game lobby or something like that. I get this quite a lot in my stream as well, where I'm using a weapon and someone might be like, "Oh, what's the build for that?" I can inspect the weapon and just give them the build straight away while I'm in game. I don't have to like wait for me to be out the lobby or something like that. So again, for me personally, I'm about that. And then HUD loadout icon when buyable. I don't know what that means. That's it in season. I don't know what that means. Who knows? Then we've got gameplay updates. So returning Battle Royale 150 players. Obviously, we have that in Urzikstan right now. They've been testing the servers. For me personally, it's been an absolute godsend. I've been loving playing Urzikstan the last few weeks now because of the 150 players. Vehicle rebalance. So I did see something on this. The vehicles have been sort of somewhat shifted to be more like the original vehicles that we had in the original Warzone. And by the looks of it there, that looks like we're going to get the original Big Bertha back, which again, it's been crying out for a long time. And then the original heli is returning to Verdansk as well, which again, huge win. And another thing that's returning is shooting during free fall. Now, this just greets people's games left, right, and centre. There's nothing worse when you're trying to parachute in and you're getting shot out of the air and you die and you hit Gulag straight away and you're Gulagging straight away. It's annoying. We all know it is, but for me personally, I think having that feature back is going to be a huge win. It really separates the men from the boys, that one. Float and loot, nothing worse than trying to like sort of pick loot up off the ground in Warzone right now. So float and loot, massively needed. The original supply run and recon contracts in the original forms as well are coming back. Thermite also coming back. And then probably one of the most welcome changes ever is that the vertical buy station menu is returning to Warzone. We don't no longer have this sort of like different widgets left, right, and center of trying to scroll across. Don't know how it's going to work when you're trying to buy weapons, unless you maybe just can't buy weapons off a buy station anymore. And then we're getting the return of the Verdansk event, which by looks of it, looking at this map, looks like we're going to have to land at different parts of the map and earn different rewards. And then we've got more classic elements like circle pacing, cinematics, contract multiplier, announcer, and victory screen. Coming later in the season, we are getting the specialist perk pack, which you can obviously loot. It was free, that was kind of one of those things that we did have in the original Verdansk. Big Game Bounty was never in the original Verdansk. That came with Caldera. So to have it in Verdansk, again, I like these bounties. I think they're pretty good to go for. So why not add them into Verdansk and more? I'm going to picture of the train there. Obviously, the train is returning as well. So part 1, rebuilt from the ground up, just as you remember it, with an asterisk. So maybe not just as you remember it. Basically, familiar, enhanced, and improved, Verdansk is rebuilt from the ground up, meticulously recreated with a variety of light adjustments and quality of life improvements. Examples that you need to know: expect intel on some of the exact one-on-one map duplications, enhanced details on structures and draw distances, additional cosmetic details, improved access along steep slopes and across buildings, and more. And then combat on the Kosovovian coast. Get ready for engagements along the southern cliffs, newly accessible coast and shoreline trenches are details. When Verdansk returns on April 3rd, 2025, players who dropped in 5 years ago, previously on March 10th, 2020, that was the day that obviously released, should instantly recognize this as the original big map Call of Duty Warzone experience. This version of Verdansk has been painstakingly rebuilt from the ground up to give you the very best Battle Royale experience possible. That experience balances the immersion, adjusted movement, mechanics, and the signature gameplay that you remember from the original Call of Duty Warzone, with one overriding goal to relive the classic and nostalgic Verdansk map that we all remember. And there it's there in all its glory. Yeah, it looks fantastic, to be honest. I'm really excited for it. Right now, I will say this before we get to the rest of this. Right now, there's this thing, not just in Call of Duty, but in the gaming community, where a lot of people just think it's, I don't know, like the in thing or the cool thing to want games to fail. For me personally, I'm really looking forward to how this goes. I really think that a lot of these changes that I have seen are really positive changes. They're exactly what the community's asked for. So for me personally, I think we could be onto a winner here. So let's get into it. So, from exploring the rugged wilderness of the northern villages, military base, and quarry, to the first time landing in a superstore or hospital, to surviving your first 1v1 prison gulag, a great deal of work has gone into making Verdansk as exact, detailed, and authentic and updated as possible. In the most basic terms, this version of Verdansk is a 95% of a rebuild version of Verdansk in 2020, with around 5% of the map's landscape receiving light adjustments on quality of life improvements. Veteran players remembering back to Modern Warfare 2019 season should think of Verdansk in Season 3 as the map that dropped in March 2020, with a few elements from that game's later seasons included. Alright, so like metro station entrances and a variety of other map changes scheduled across for future seasons. Alright, so they are going to continue to update this, which I think Ghost of Hope leaked, saying that they're not going to keep this map forever, they're going to update it. So that's what obviously that is obviously linking to there. So familiar, enhanced, and improved, it's the little things. The look and feel of Season 3 of Verdansk falls into one of 3 categories. Familiar, the map was rebuilt, obviously we just read that. Enhanced, it's the same thing, improved, okay, right. Okay. Kind of feel like we are repeating ourselves here. Superstore, I wonder if we're going to get customizable parachutes, because these have always got blue parachutes, they've got green parachutes, so maybe that is the thing that's coming. Let's take a moment to look at some specific visual examples of these adjustments. Remember, these are mostly very subtle and designed to be beneficial without influencing the map's original combat flow. Note, the following examples include comparison screenshots, image taken from the original Verdansk, taken in February 2020 on the left, and then obviously, okay, so this side is obviously original Verdansk, and then this side here is the Verdansk that we're going to get in a few days. So one thing I do notice straight away is that on the left-hand side, the original Verdansk, there's a like sort of a yellowy haze over both that's Quarry there, and then obviously that's Superstore, whereas on the right-hand side, the new Verdansk, there is a lot more sort of, it looks clearer. That's the first thing I will say there. It looks a lot clearer. Visually, it looks a lot better. They've also changed the store numbers there as well. I've just noticed that. It's like spot the difference. This what's good, what's not. And actually, it mentions it there. The interior superstore is pretty much aside from improved interior lighting and the renumbering of the checkout area. Don't know why we've had to renumber the checkout area, but hey ho, like. Yeah, that looks good. Superstore there looks bright, it looks airy, it looks like you'll be able to see players in it. So for me personally, I think that's a big win. Enhanced topography, whatever topography means. I believe it might be landscape stuff, I'm not really too sure. So original Verdansk fire station, very yellow again, and this one, it's not as yellow. And there's a clock. I don't know. That one looks brighter to me than that one. Maybe this is the wrong image they've used, I don't know. But this looks brighter than that one. And then we have, obviously, bridge. I don't know where this is. This is about mid-map, I think. Yeah, this must be mid-map, just beyond hospital, as you cross towards like the sort of airport way. And then we have, again, here, obviously, Verdansk back in the day was sort of all frozen over. There was no water in it. By looks of it, as you get further south on the map, that water is going to be defrosted and there's going to be water on the map. As you can see there on Dam, the map, it's still frozen up there. One thing that the Call of Duty have confirmed is that there will be no water in Verdansk other than at the very south of the map, which is swimmable. Back in the original Verdansk, if you hit the water, you died instantly. You couldn't get out or anything like that. It was kind of an out-of-bounds area. Right now, with the new Verdansk, you can just swim in that part of the map only. I believe this water here isn't going to be any higher than, I don't know, maybe ankle or shin height. I believe that you can go prone in it and stuff like that. You can't be hiding it. You can't dive under the water again where people shooting you. It's just there essentially for visual effect. And also, one thing I will say is that looks very visually stunning. The water there looks very good. However, if you're like me and you're on PC, you're going to want the best performance out of it, so you're going to be turning off any sort of graphical feature that makes it look like that anyway. See, it's enhanced. Certain structures like this fire station have received a detail pass. Bottom, obviously, the bridge is west of TV station. Shows Gore River no longer frozen, although the water is only ankle deep. Okay, so that means it's all good. This ground thaw extends across most of the map and changes how you hear enemy footsteps as they splash through water rather than crunch on ice. That's going to be interesting because it was kind of like a low thud on the original Verdansk, so hearing sort of splashing of water could be intriguing. Also, look through the bridge arch and compare the understated improvements to the draw distance at longer ranges. Oh yeah, so right there, if you look through here on the left hand side, the distance there, it's all very sort of foggy and hazy. And if you look at it on the right hand side, the new updated Verdansk, it looks very clear and it looks sort of like, you know, you might be able to see like a very, very faint speck of someone running across there. So for me personally, that's actually a big win. That looks actually so clean in comparison to what we used to have. Like, you don't realise how hazy Verdansk was until you actually watch old school Verdansk gameplay. And we've got an example 3, more enhanced detail. So obviously this is Superstore. Once again, more puddles of water and stuff like that. So again, we'll be hearing people splash rather than just like those footsteps. Doesn't really look like an awful lot of difference there. Obviously just a little bit of colour. Looks a bit brighter. And then a bunker here. Again, shadows a little bit different. That tree's there, but it's not there. Looks like this tree. He has grown a bit in the last 5 years. But yeah, rummage around Superstore, you discover a variety of subtle cosmetic details added, including weeds on the garage roofs and on the ground, reflective puddles, stuff like that. Okay, fine. In the bottom, the Western Foothills, Bunker 2 has an enhanced and climbable outcrops. Has it? I can't tell where they would be, to be honest. Oh yeah, it looks like there. So on the side there, there's obviously no rocks there, but here there's rocks that you'll be able to climb up on and obviously get over the wall, obviously making it less of a power position. Extra details on the combat zone perimeter and longer range visibility. Yeah, looks, I would say, somewhat good. Looks pretty good. Improved access. So if we come down to here, the top row, Verdansk police stations like this one, close to airport maintenance, have received art and clarity adjustments. This includes the 3 leftmost top floor windows, which are now openings and more illuminating interior lighting. Bottom row, back at Storage Town, the roof of the building 3 is now less of an unfair power position as the ladder has been added to the exterior balcony. Again, a very minor adjustment, one that enables operators to reach many places. Alright, only parachutes will be able to get to. Alright, so yes, so this was the big thing back in the original Verdansk where obviously we could only sort of manual up to what was like, I don't know, like mid-height. Obviously now in Warzone we can sort of like jump and grab onto things, pull ourselves up. That is kind of a thing that got added later in Warzone cycle. So back in Verdansk we have these sort of windows here where they were like sort of like half windows where you couldn't jump in and out of them. But obviously now we can, so now you're going to be able to sort of run and jump onto this balcony and then maybe jump across to maybe even that like far end window, get a bit of a flanking route going. Obviously we need this in Verdansk, and I will say as well, obviously going down to this bit as well, improved access to sort of like these power buildings as well. Back in the original Verdansk, if you were sat atop on these buildings, really no one could get you off, and there's only one way up. Now there's multiple ways up. Again, for me personally, this is a big win. Verdansk did suffer with camping problems here and there, so this is obviously going to take away from that. And for the most part, even since Caldera, the buildings have all sort of had like 2 or 3 different ways to get into them. So it's great to see that we're going to get this continuing on in this new and improved Verdansk. And then here's some more details as well. There's obviously just enhanced visuals on the map. Dam looks stunning there with the ice and stuff like that. Dealership, this I believe is new. I don't think this was in the original one. So again, as I was saying there, kind of improved. Obviously, back in the day, there was a ladder there, and there was obviously a stairs inside, and that was only 2 ways to get to that second floor. Now there's a ladder, now there's stairs, now there's a ramp that leads up as well into that second floor. So again, it's all about sort of improving access to the building. So as you can see there, I think that's pretty good. The new and improved, well, it's not the new and improved plane, that is just the old school plane. And I don't know what's different here. Maybe these bits of cover, were they always there? I don't really know, to be honest. Visit familiar locations like Gulag Dam, and you may find small improvements like a jetty over the ice, which doesn't appear to take the weight of a truck. Interesting. So can your truck fall into like the water, and like, maybe you can't drive a truck across that ice? Interesting. I wonder. Or navigate through the car dealership close to airport as the exterior sign is fallen. Yeah, so again, obviously, it just improved accessibility to those buildings, creating a ramp to the upper interior. Favorite hot dropper hangars, and I actually really enjoyed dropping hangars, which features some slightly repositioned cargo planes to aid operators rushing across the tarmac. All right, so we've now got a bit more cover in open locations. So back in the day, these would have been very much like a no man's land, where especially if you're trying to cross from hangars to the north side of the map as you're going towards Dam, if you had control of the ATC, you was beaming anyone that was running across this runway. At least there's a bit more cover there now. So for me personally, that is a big win. And then this is what I was on about with water before: improved southern shoreline. Basically, they've made it so like you can obviously swim and stuff like that. And then there's also, this was kind of a no man's land between port and prison. Obviously there's now little trenches and stuff again for cover. It looks like when you're running across a lot of open spaces, they've actually kind of tweaked it to be like, oh, you know what, we'll put a bit more cover in here and there just to make it a little bit less forgiving when you're trying to rotate. Then getting granular, it's all in the details. I will say stadium's having an improvement. So stadium roof, I think, was open in the last one, and the interior was closed when we first dropped in. Basically, the stadium roof is closed now, but the interior of the stadium is open. That looks fantastic. That redone stadium looks absolutely unreal. So fair play to them. So it says, now you've seen a variety of limited and extremely subtle adjustments to the quality of life improvements to this map. Here's a general summary of what to expect across Season 3 of Verdansk. Trees aren't precisely in the same positions that they were in the original map. I don't think anyone is remembering where exactly every single tree was in Verdansk, so that's not going to make any bit of difference. Any parked vehicle that aren't drivable now look much more like smaller wreckage, ensuring players can easily distinguish between immovable automobiles from the cargo truck, LTV, and other accessible vehicles. Fair play. One of the biggest challenges is the ability to swim, which wasn't possible in the original Verdansk. The swimming combat's awful anyway. The southern combat zone has been extended out into the Castovian Sea. The coastline is now accessible. However, this isn't critical to gameplay, and all the rest of the map requires swimming. Basically, if you're swimming in the bottom of the sea at a very, very far south on the map, something's gone wrong. Okay, so I would imagine it'd be very, very rare that people go swimming in that sea. Some of the more unforgiving areas of steep and rocky terrain have been adjusted so that the mantling traversal maneuvers are easier and goat trails are a little bit more prominent. Verdansk had a big problem with climbing up rocks, so for me personally, that's a win. Telephone electrical poles and being slightly shortened in some locations to enable easier parachute landing. Again, there's nothing worse when you're landing in, your parachute's going like this, and you're trying to maneuver, and then all of a sudden you just hit the telephone pole and you just lose all momentum. So for me personally, that's a big win. Other traversal points in areas that are disadvantaged, that disadvantaged some players have been given minor adjustments, allowing routes to rooftops that have only been accessible only by parachute. Obviously, we mentioned there newly positioned ladders. Obviously, talked about that. Doors can be barged through. Are usually double hinges swing open in both directions. Do we have that in original Verdansk? I don't know. That is a thing right now in Warzone though, so fair enough. While I said it was the original Verdansk launch, they were added at the start of Season 5. We did 2 seasons without zip lines in Verdansk, that's mad. And aren't planning to arrive until later in Season 3 in Battle Royale matches. So that means that when this map launches on April 3rd, you're not going to have zip lines across buildings in downtown and up to buildings. So it's going to be very much back to fighting in staircases in downtown. I don't know, man. These have been test fitted to numerous buildings to enable players to reach otherwise difficult rooftops in preparation for them to return to the game mode. These aren't the original A-frame shape with a newer L shape with the current mechanics. Alright, so at least it's not like the long animation stuff, that's fine. Available on Plunderbolt launch, they're scheduled to be bolted to rooftops and overhangs. You remember from the original Verdansk. Read more in the feature section of this blog. At least they are gonna arrive like later in Season 3, but I don't know, I think that should have been in from the start, to be honest. The lighting of the exterior map, the draw distance, obviously just talked about that. The general here is that Verdansk has been improved. The lighting of interiors, again, very good, been improved. I want to put it another way, minimising the advantage of hiding in dark corners wearing rose skin. Now, the rose skin is actually coming back. It's going to be the tier 100 skin in the battle pass, so Lord knows what those complaints are going to be like. Detailed art passes and scenery enhancements have been added in areas that can benefit from it. So, like exterior fire stations, stuff like that. So, to be fair, making the map look a bit more vibrant isn't the end of the world. No one's going to complain about a vibrant map. The HUD compass text font at the top has been indicating the name of the location yet has been updated to match the current graphical user interface. Again, I don't think anyone's going to notice that. User interface has been simplified, as detailed later in the blog. Alright, Part 2, Season 3, Call of Duty Warzone features to Omni Movement adjustments at launch. So, the introduction of Black Ops 6's Omni Movement has been a major stepping stone for the game, establishing a new foundation of player movement. Initially, Call of Duty Warzone adopted movement values directly from multiplayer with good intent, but adjustments are needed to better align with the unique demands of Call of Duty Warzone's map and engagement styles. I think Omni Movement, how it is now, is perfect for multiplayer. Don't think it really all works all that well in Warzone. But this is another key thing, is that Warzone, for the first time ever, is going to start to get its own movement engine by the looks of it, which means that we're going to move away from multiplayer, and Warzone is possibly going to become its own game. So Season 3 serves as an opportunity to fine-tune player movement by scaling back some of the speed increases introduced over the past several months. These adjustments bring movement more in line with what players experienced in the early days of Call of Duty Warzone. I feel like the movement is somewhat in an alright place right now with mantling speeds and sort of stuff like that. I don't think we should be messing with this. Who knows? Additionally, changes have been made to Omni Sprint speed, scaling and slide friction to address the strength of strafe engagements while preserving the feel of sprint strafe, reloading, and general movement. It's going to slow down because it's going to be more like the original movement. But it's not going to be like the original movement, so I don't know. It's one of these things that we don't know until we test it. I'm going to keep an open mind about it, but who knows? Player count, infill, shooting during free fall, 150 players within Launchbar, shooting during infill. That's pretty self-explanatory. Creates armor satchel, looting, loadouts, high-value loot zones. Original supply box colours is a huge win, actually. That's like, yeah, let's go right back to the original. I forgot how vibrant that orange crate looked like. Look at that. Look at that. Like, that's just a solid orange box. Oh, man. I forgot how good they look, to be fair. The original armor satchel takes place over the current armor satchel as well. Fair enough. All of the satchel types, the ammo satchel, are removed, allowing for an original Verdansk experience. WWW. And actually reading that up there, the original armor satchel, which was first added during Season 3 Reloaded of Warzone, is also back, enabling 8 armor plates to be carried instead of the normal 5 without the satchel. The armor satchel is found in supply crates or as ground loot. I would like to see us keep 6 plates rather than 5, but hey ho. I would have it as, because this took it from 5 plates to 8, I would have it as 6 plates, and then the armor satchel takes it to 9, because obviously you've got to put 3 plates on, so little tweak there, but it's not the end of the world. But I would have rather seen this maintain a 6 plates rather than 5 plates. But hey ho. High value loot zones launch and mid season. Introduced during Modern Warfare 3, and now coming to Verdansk. Okay, so yeah, there was points in Modern Warfare 3's Warzone where you drop in and you would get sort of like better loot. That's a big win. So that's going to come to Verdansk as well. And for me personally, I think that's good. Typically there were hot drops. There were things like Superstore and stuff like that. So like you've got to be prepared to sweat it out to get the better loot. So for me personally, I'm a fan of that. Buy stations. Again, that is the original buy station, isn't it? Yeah, there. It looks exactly like the original buy station. It looks crisp and clean. And then a little look at the menu there as well. Obviously, the widgets are still there, but it is a vertical menu, which means we can now finally just go on the buy station, hitched up on the D-pad, and you're straight on your loadout. And then obviously we have right there as well, obviously the redeploy all as well for bringing back your squad mates. One thing I will say, looking at this picture here, is that this UAV is still the UAVs that we have now, and they're still like little iPad things. I want to see the sort of the big ones come back, and the big looking kill streaks that we had back in the original Verdansk. Not a deal breaker, but I would rather, for me personally, I think I would rather just have, you could just tell what it was straight from the off. But contract multipliers in Verdansk, I don't know when they took this out, to be fair, but in Verdansk, see, you did a bounty contract, then you did a scavenger contract, and then you maybe did a recon contract. The rewards for completing those contracts would increase with each one done, so you get more money for doing more contracts. So this made things like doing bounty and like sort of hunting bounty after bounty after bounty across the map was like really sort of like worthwhile, because you get more cash upon the payout of doing it, which means you can continue popping UAVs, self-reses, all that kind of stuff. So for me personally, that's a big win. Original capture the flag variant as well, rather than the little sort of I think there were ladders in Warzone 2, zipline at the moment. Back in the day, it was capture the flag in the middle of the map. This flag didn't take all that long to capture anyway. The Verdansk vehicles are rebalancing. So we've got the heli, the cargo truck, the LTV, the Polaris Razor Pro, which is right now in Warzone, and the ATV. So as you can see there, that looks like somewhat the original Bertha. Obviously LTV, we're not getting back the original sort of SUV or whatever we had. For me personally, as long as they sort of handle, they've said they've been rebalanced, so as long as they personally handle like the original, it's not going to be the end of the world. And then the original heli is coming back. There's nothing better than sort of racing for helis across the map initially, so these were very, very good, very sort of agile, but also very easy to kind of shoot as well. So having them back is a big win. This is or isn't. I can't tell if this is or isn't the original. It doesn't say it's the original down here, so maybe it's not, but we are getting a cargo truck back. And obviously we still have this in Warzone to this day. We still obviously have that in Warzone. So yeah, right. Circle collapse pacing. So the collapsing circle, blah, 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 we all know what it does. We all know it's gas and stuff like that, so we don't need to think about it. Expect loadout drops during the 2nd and 5th of the 6 circle collapses, while a wide variety of locations to claim victory through dead zones, endgame areas, and lack of cover, blah, blah, blah. When did loadout drops first drop in? They dropped towards the end of this first, don't they? I don't know. Second circle loadout drop feels like it might be a bit long. We have to wait and see. I can't remember how it was in the original one. I feel like it dropped between... I feel like as soon as... Yeah, I feel like back then it dropped as soon as circle 1 closed, doesn't it? Does it still do that now? I don't know. Maybe it is still the same now. Can't really work that out. Vertical launches, again, coming back mid-season. Again, the fast ones that we've got now, so that's a win. Kind of wish they were in normal ones, but hey-ho, it is what it is. And then some of the where they've put them. So Downtown's got them, which we needed them desperately in downtown. Superstore's got them. Airport's got it, and wherever this little shack is here, don't know. But for me personally, big win. I would like to see sort of the vertical ones going across the buildings in downtown as well. Whether or not they add them in future seasons, I don't know. For me personally, I would like to see them. Because downtown was a nightmare to kind of push. Secrets of Verdansk redacted content. You already know Verdansk inside out. Okay, what's this? Between March 2020 and December 2021, when Verdansk was an active map, investigations across the combat zone began to reveal a host of hidden items, communications, evidence, much of it well hidden away from prying eyes. Upon return to Verdansk, it's well worth your time checking out of the way places, searching for clues and finding redacted, allowing you to redact both old and new. With a wealth of history over 5 years, redacted opening up, redacted including tracking, redacted than ever before. So there's going to be Easter eggs in it. So a lot of people are going to be hunting for Easter eggs, stuff like that. Battle Royale ranked on Verdansk coming mid-season. For me, I'm glad I haven't dropped ranked straight away. Obviously gets people used to the map again before we see ranked mid-season. I'm looking forward to playing ranked on Verdansk. Gives it a little bit of competitive aspect of it. Return to Verdansk. This is a free event. You get 20 rewards, basically. You will kind of just drop in different places by the looks of it, and you get sort of different... you get different, obviously, rewards for doing that. So it says the celebration takes form and series chances scattered across the 12 distinct event-only zones within Verdansk. Fight your way across Verdansk, explore 12 unique zones. And they'll probably be like, open up so many loot boxes and stuff like that. Typically, that's what they are. So, instantly you get 2 mil-sim looking operators, which are very much like the original Verdansk ones. And you get the Kilo. To get the Kilo, you don't actually even have to, like, play Warzone. Literally, when Warzone's down between April 2nd and April 3rd for the preparation of Verdansk, you can just click the Warzone menu and you get given the Kilo. And then Black Ops 6 is free to play between that down cycle, so you can then go and level a Kilo straight away. Instant event rewards, so you get parachute. Well, that was that blue parachute, so we are going to get customized little parachutes. Gun screen, we had these back in the day, we haven't had them since. So the fact we're getting gun screens back, I'm actually a big fan of it. It used to tell you how many kills you've got, how many deaths you've got, kind of stuff like that. Contracts. No, contrails. Oh, so you can customize, like, so we only have red right now, you can customize them as well. That's actually a big win. Obviously, then you get, like, Cali sticks and stuff like that as well. They were quite prominent with a riot shield back in the day. So there we go. So this is what it's going to be. So yeah, so it's going to be, like, different things. For doing different things upon the map, you're going to get, like, different rewards, basically. For me, I'm a fan of that. I quite like it when they say it's like you're going to go, like, explore the different zones on the map and stuff like that. So we're getting the AMAX, HDR, Cali sticks. And then I think we are getting the growl back in the form of the swap in the conversion kit. So we'll see how that goes. It could be good. For me personally, I think the growl should be its own gun, but there we go. And it's bringing down when things go live. So basically, Black Ops 6 Season 2 is going to go live on April 2nd. Warzone is going to go dark for 24 hours while they put Verdansk into the game. And then on April 3rd, Verdansk will launch and Warzone Season 3 will launch. But everyone will have access to Black Ops 6 during that downtime, whether or not you have Black Ops 6 or not, basically. And then we're going to have a Verdansk launch sequence, and that basically just breaks down what I've just said about the game going dark and stuff like that. And then they've also marketed some return for the Verdansk merchandise as well. That's it. For me personally, I think it's going to be a big win. I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it is. I think there's a lot of positive changes there. It's a lot of what the community's been asking for years now. You got to think people have been asking for Verdansk ever since Verdansk left when they dropped Caldera. The only thing that worries me right now is, one, how good's the anti-cheat going to be? And two, is the game going to drop cleanly without any bugs? That's the only thing that's worrying me about this. I guess we will have to wait and see. On April 3rd, coming very, very soon. Let me know your thoughts on Verdansk in the comments below. Enjoy dropping in, and I'll catch you in the next one.